agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Children Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2021, and seek leave to sit again. The principal object of this bill is to repeal the Children Act of 2001 to provide for parental responsibility, fostering, adoption, custody, maintenance, guardianship, care and protection of children, to make provision for the administration of children's institutions, to give effect to the provisions of the Constitution, and for connected purposes. If you're just joining us, the business of the National Assembly is about to begin. On your screen is the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Justin Muturi, who is going to oversee the business of this House this afternoon. I will now hand you over for this live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing.
Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the office of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom have been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests we committed to our charge. Amen. Ring the quorum bell, please.
The House lacks requisite quorum needed for the business to begin. That number is 50, and as things stand, there are not enough members in the chambers to allow the commencement of the business to be transacted in the House. We'll take a look at the order of business this afternoon, what is lined up for debate. Among them, the consideration of nominees for appointment to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. This is a special motion which will be moved by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee in its report on its consideration of names or nominees for appointment as members of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, laid on the table of the House on May 12, 2022, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 10, Subsection 3 of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Act of 2011, and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act of 2011, this House approves the appointment of Dr. Cecilia Mbinya-Mutuku and Mr. John Ogalo as members of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Thereafter, the members will move to the Committee of the Whole House, where they'll consider the Children Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2021, and the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Amendment Bill National Assembly Bill number 4 of 2021. Also lined up for debate is a motion by the Chairperson, Committee on Implementation. The motion is on implementation status of the report on a petition on irregular renewal of leases of land by Del Monte Kenya Limited and eviction of workers from their land in Roysambu by KDF, that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Implementation on its consideration of the implementation status of the report of the Committee on land laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, December 22nd, 2021, on the following subjects. 1. Petition on irregular renewal of leases of land by Del Monte Kenya Limited and petition by former workers of the late Mayor Jacob Samuels regarding the invasion and eviction of the workers from their land in Roysambu constituency by the Kenya Defence Forces. Also lined up for debate is the Prompt Payment Bill, Senate Bills number 16 of 2021. This bill is lined up for debate for the second reading. The Chairperson, Committee on Member Services and Facilities, will move a motion on the establishment of a Parliamentary Health Services Unit, that this House adopts the report of the Select Committee on Member Services and Facilities on establishment of a Parliamentary Health Services Unit laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, August 11th, 2021. The Chairperson, Committee on Member Services and Facilities, will also move a motion on a study visit to the Legislative Assembly of Alberta, Canada. The Mung Beans Bill, Senate Bills number 9 of 2020, is also lined up for debate for the second reading, and so is the County Boundaries Bill, Senate Bills number 20 of 2021, which is also lined up for debate for the second reading. So this afternoon, the Children's Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2021, will be debated in the Committee of the Whole House. There are a number of proposed amendments which will be considered. There are quite a number of them. Some include new clauses and deleting of some clauses within the bill. This business will be coming after the members have dispensed with the report of the Committee of the Whole on the particular bill itself, as well as consideration of nominees for appointment to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, which comes at order number 9. At order number 10 will be the Committee of the Whole House, which will be considering the proposals to amend that bill. They will resume from clause 130. We are waiting for the quorum of the National Assembly to be achieved, and the members who are within the precincts of Parliament, they are being encouraged to walk into the chambers and take their seat and allow the business of the National Assembly to begin. The House has a couple of weeks to complete the business that it has before it, and that should happen before the House closes in readiness for the general election. The Children Bill, which the members will be debating in the Committee of the Whole House, contains a number of clauses. There are some clauses which speak about the safeguards for the right and welfare of the child and there's enforcement of these rights. There are clauses which contain provisions relating to parental responsibility extension of responsibility beyond the 18th birthday, and they also provide for regulations thereof. The clauses which provide for the administration of children's services and contain general provisions relating to the National Council for Children's Services and the role of county governments in the administration of children's services. There are also clauses which contain financial provisions which include the funds of the National Council for Children's Services. Quorum has been achieved.
Very well. Now we have quorum. You can stop the quorum bell.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Leader of majority.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, May 17th, 2022. Number 1 is the legal notice number 31 of 2022 relating to the prevention of terrorism, implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolutions on suppression of terrorism, regulations 2022, and the explanatory memorandum from the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government. And the second is the board report of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund on project proposals, approvals, disbursement status, and restrictions imposed on the constituency account for the period 1st of January 2022 to 31st of March 2022. The next is the quarterly economic and budgetary review for the third quarter for the financial year 2021 to 2022 from the National Treasury. And lastly, the report of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect of the Lesos Technical Training Institute for the year ended 30th of June 2018 and the certificate therein. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chairman, Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. The Honorable Peter Mwangi Mwadi, or chairperson. Very well. The Chairman, Public Accounts Committee, the Honorable Opio Wandai.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Just 1 second. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House. Today, Tuesday, May 17th, 2022. The report on the examination of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the national government for the financial year 2018-2019, Volume 1 and 2.
Very well. Next order. I hope members can have a look at what the Honorable Opio and I is tabling. That voluminous document. Yes, that shows, and that is for the financial years 2018-2019. So there's still 2019-2020. And I think 2020-2021, isn't it, Honorable Opio? Give him the mic.
This is 2018-2019. There is still 2019-2020, which we are hoping to table before we are done. And then there's 2020-2021, which we won't be able to table because we are yet to examine it in full. Yeah.
Very well. I think you've made very, very good progress, Honorable Wandai. Your committee has really done very well to bring up to speed these reports. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Honorable Opiyo Andai.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion: that this House adopts the report of the Public Accounts Committee on the examination of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the national government for the financial year 2018-2019. Yes, thank you.
Very well. Next.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
There are no requests for statements. It's on a question by the member for Yatta, the Honorable Charles Kilonzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to ask question number 121/2022 to the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife. Roman 1, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the rationale behind the merger of various state corporations under the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife and indicate whether they are carried in accordance with legislation in place? Roman 2, Mr. Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary confirm whether public participation was undertaken prior to the said merger of the state corporations, including Kenya Tourism Board, the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, the Kenya National Convention Bureau, and the Tourism Research Institute? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The question will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Sports, Culture, and Tourism. No, you are not being asked to answer the question now. Honorable Makau, you are not answering, or you have the answer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In regards to the question that Honorable Charles Kilonzo has asked, Mr. Speaker, the merger of those properties or assets came to a committee. Mr. Speaker, we summoned the CS Treasury, the CS Tourism, and Mr. Speaker, they never showed up at all to answer those questions. So it is still pending in the committee's business. And Mr. Speaker, as I stand here, I was trying to request whether we can have your intelligence the same, so that we fast track the appearance of the CS Treasury and the CS Tourism. Because during that time, Mr. Speaker, is when there was some ulaboro up and down.
Let them appear before you come your committee in response to the questions raised by the Honorable Kilonzo. Very well. The next question is by the member for Ruiru, the Honorable Simon Kingara, who has written to request that the question be deferred to tomorrow. His request was acceded to, and therefore that question is deferred. Member for Kilifi North, Owen Baya.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I rise on a point of order to ask you to give us a ruling whether the honorable member for Kisumu West, Senior Alago Oluoch, whether he is properly dressed in this house. He seems to be wearing some strange things which we do not understand. So please, is he properly dressed?
Honorable Olago Oluoch, maybe he could be upstanding so that the member for Kisumu Town West should be actually congratulated. Is donning his insignia for the chief of the Birding Spear. Yeah? I think it's something that he should be congratulated by the House. It is proper. And I think since he received it today, I think it's only fair that the member be allowed to wear it. Honorable Murugara, what? You are following up on that?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, that's a good ruling, which I think will guide the House, especially when it comes to insignia, such as what the Honorable, my lad and friend, Senior He's a London gentleman. He's a ranking member. He's been here for many years. And I think it is worthy every moment of it that today he has been recognized and awarded that particular award of CBS. So on just myself as I stand, I say congratulations, Senior. It's well deserved. You've been here long enough. You've also done a lot for this country. Thank you very much.
Member for Community, you're also in the House, and I can see you want to weigh in also.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
It is Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Honorable Lago Lodge. Mr. Speaker, I had an opportunity also to get that medal. It is a very nice achievement, Mr. Speaker, and Honorable Lago Lodge has been a very serious legislature, Mr. Speaker. In fact, some of us who joined after him, we've learned so much from Honorable Lago Lodge. Many times when it comes to matters of debate, you'll find he's very objective. He's not somebody who is skewed maybe because of political affiliation or whatever the case. He's not. He's somebody that will encourage other members that can learn from. He's, despite the fact that he has an older age, but you find he's always committed on the floor of the House. He does not leave. So he's such a serious legislature. How I wish that the great people of his constituency can vote him back to continue enjoying the benefits, and they really want to thank you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Member for Endabes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think the Honorable Member was rising for us to notice Honorable Lago Lodge that he's been awarded CPS. And I want to take this opportunity to congratulate him. And I know that Honorable Lago Lodge, who is on MDG ticket in Kisumu West, will be re-elected into this House. So, Honorable Lago Lodge, congratulations for the award. And I think this House, Honorable Speaker, will be looking on merit and the contributions of members on this floor, because in the past we've seen members who have even never made a maiden speech in this House being awarded. So I think this is a good example and it should be emulated. Congratulations, Honorable Lago Lodge, and I wish you all the best.
Member for Kapuchai.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I also join my friends to congratulate Honorable Lago Lodge, Mr. Speaker, and also thank the President, Mr. Speaker, for choosing this very humble man. The man I've been watching on television when I've been at home, Mr. Speaker. And this man, Mr. Speaker, not only does he fare well here, this man chooses smaller parties, Mr. Speaker, which don't work well in this area, Mr. Speaker, and he wins on it, Mr. Speaker. So I congratulate Mr. Speaker. He doesn't come with the wind, Mr. Speaker. He comes with his brains, and I think the brains are the ones giving this one. I also join my people of Kapuchai to congratulate him, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And he's formerly the Member of Parliament on Fort Kenya ticket, Mr. Speaker. Congratulate him, Mr. Lago Lodge. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Homa Bay.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my voice is a bit coarse. But Honorable Speaker, we were celebrating Martha Karua yesterday. But Honorable Speaker, when I joined Parliament, I joined the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, and I've remained in that committee, Honorable Speaker, to date, under the mentorship of Honorable Lago Lodge. Honorable Lago is the ranking member of that committee. I think he has served for over 10 years in that committee consistently. What I like about Honorable Lago Lodge is that even where he disagrees with you, he does it with a lot of respect and dignity. And because of that, his work and good work has not just been noticed in the committee, but even on the floor of the House here, Honorable Speaker, whenever we need to be sobered by wisdom and real leadership, Olago always steps up. So mine is to congratulate him and hope that this CBS first class will land upon us one day. I know he's facing election, but I wish him well. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Igembe Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me join my colleagues in congratulating our ranking member, Honorable Lago Lodge, for the commendation, and thank the head of state for recognizing this son of the soil. And when I joined this parliament, I met Lago Lodge, and To my observation, Mr. Speaker, I've seen Olango Lodge does not contribute to anything which he comes by. He researches well, and he has been very instrumental in this house in guiding us, especially where legal issues are concerned. He comes in to chip in a very complicated issue, and sometimes, Mr. Speaker, he comes handy even to assist you in making some rulings. Olango Lodge, congratulations, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Now, I hope the member for Kilifi North is not intending to say something beyond that now.
Now that I know Olango Lodge is properly dressed in the house, I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate him very sincerely. When I came to this house as a young member, I met this gentleman, and I think he's one of the people that I can describe as a very good friend who has helped me in many ways. Even when I'm indecisive about something, I think Olango has been there to say, yes, young man, move on. So I want to thank you and congratulate you, sir, for the greatness that you have achieved. Asante sana. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Very well.
As you all know, maybe many of you may need to keep looking at your constitution to see that Article 132, which defines the functions of the president, among them there is that function in clause 4, paragraph C, which is the conferment and award of awards and honors in the name of the Republic, is an exclusive function of the President. And therefore, it's in that recognition that the Honorable Olango Lodge finds himself donning those colors. Thank you. Next order. What do I do now?
Order number 8, report of the Committee of the Whole House on the Children Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2021.
Why don't you tell me to take it out? I have no way of communicating. Yes, or tell Sarah. You have not to me as well, you know, no, not Kimunya, somebody else, Osman, who's pre-nomination team. His bill is coming tomorrow from the committee. Maybe Leah's will be able to have it this one next Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah. Who's going to do committee? Is it the one going to? Oh, we are not yet there. No, we are going to the EACC. The chairman.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House consider the Children Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2021 up to clause 129 and approve the same with amendments and seeks leave to sit again.
Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report, and I also request the Honorable Jude Jomo to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Jude Jomo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second.
Member for Kitui South, could you take a seat? The member who is whispering to the member for the Raka. Very well, honourable members, I propose a question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I confirm that we have a quorum. So I put the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And just for those who may have been whispering to one another and may not know what it is that you have agreed with, the committee has considered the Children Bill up to clause 129 and passed it with amendments, but seeks leave of the House to sit again. That is what you have approved. Just so that when you go out, you also say you can explain something. Yes, you have passed. Proceed. Next order.
Order number 9, special motion. Consideration of nominees for appointment to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
The chairperson, Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, or a member thereof. The chairman Lindo majority, this is a fairly straightforward matter. Honorable Jennifer Shamala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm a member of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee and wish to move the special motion that, taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs in its report on its consideration of the nominees for appointment as members to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, May 12th, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 10, Subclause 3 of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Act 2011, this House approves the appointment of, and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, this House approves the appointment of Dr. Cecilia Mbini Mutuku and Mr. John Ogalo as members of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. I beg to move.
Yeah?
Sorry. Oh, okay. Honorable Speaker, these two nominees did appear before the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. They were thoroughly vetted and also interviewed. The committee confirmed that indeed they do suit and meet the requirements of both the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Act and the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act. They demonstrated wide experience in the fields that they practice in, and with those few remarks, I beg to move. And I ask Honorable, the Majority Leader to second.
Leader of Majority.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Honorable Shamala for rising to the occasion. Indeed, we were just discussing whether this report is already here. And I know she's a very ardent member of the committee, so we'll do it even without the benefit of forewarning. But Honorable Speaker, as members will be aware, we received the notification from His Excellency the President on these two Kenyans, Dr. Cecilia Mbini and John Ogalo, as candidates for appointment into the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to replace the two who retired ahead of their time. And the committee, the names were then committed to the committee in accordance with our standing orders and within, in terms also, in accordance with the law. And indeed, the House was magnanimous to even extend the time for reporting back, because it was supposed to be reported back when we were on break. So the committee has obviously prepared a report. This report was tabled here on the 12th of May, and I'm sure members have had an occasion to look through it. And it's a straightforward report. If you avoid all the preliminaries and the issues to do with who qualifies to be, because that's all within the public domain, it's things that were done by this House. What the important thing is looking through the committee has indicated in its report that they were satisfied with the match between the qualifications of the nominees and the requirements of the Constitution, the requirements of the Act, and basically in terms of all the issues that were required. And most importantly, the procedure that was used in arriving at the nominees, from the filling of the vacancy, in terms of what was supposed to be done was done. In terms of the conformity with the gender rules, we noticed we having a male and a female coming in, and if this House approves, basically then we will have 3 members already in place, which is Archbishop Eliot Wabukala, who is male, Colonel Alfred Mushimba, who is male, Dr. Monica Wanjiru Mwiru, who is female, and if these 2, Dr. Cecilia Mutuku and John Ogalo, are appointed, then the commission, out of the 5, will have 2 men and 3 women. No, 3 men and 2 women, which will satisfy the gender requirement. In terms of the regional and ethnic diversity, again, which is one of the issues that keeps on popping here, the committee does reports, has actually looked into that, and basically limits the number of commissioners to 5. So first of all, we know we can't have representation from all over Kenya, but the beauty of it is that the various people who are here represent diversity from having come from 5 different broad regions of Kenya, whereas we don't have 47, but the 5 are evenly spread over 5 diverse regions of Kenya. The issue, again, on age, the youth, have also been looked at, and the other issues is obviously determining the integrity, which again came pursuant to memoranda that was used in terms of were these people cleared by help that they don't owe amount that they should not be owing, and it was very clear that they have sorted out their issues with help. The EACC itself did confirm that the people are compliant, and they are not officials of any registered political party. So, Honorable Speaker, I believe we looking at 2 Kenyans who have been cleared, who have been vetted, and the committee's recommendations are very clearly spelled out that yes, they have no objection in making the recommendation to the House to approve the nomination of these 2. And I would ask that we agree with the committee. The EACC is an integral part of the realization of the aspirations of Chapter 6 of our Constitution. We know corruption is and integrity issues are the heart of derailing our development agenda. And I do hope when these 2 Kenyans join the commission, one of their responsibilities will be to give fresh energy into that organization, look back at what the organization was initially set up to do. In my own view, and I believe it was the view of so many people at the very beginning, this organization was supposed to be a catalyst, and not a body that will be there into perpetuity. It was supposed to catalyze the fight against corruption, so that when that is sorted, then people can go back to default that institutions, the normal institutions that are supposed to fight theft and all that for public, which is DCI and others, could do their job. But because of how badly we were doing, you now needed this catalyst organization to help people to behave, including to be ethical, which, again, is really not something we should be legislating, because that should be part of our bringing and our moral acceptance of moral values as a nation. Unfortunately, we don't have that, so we have to legislate and have people having to look at who is being ethical and who is not being ethical. And even as we are heading towards the elections and the coming up with new leaders, you see the current debate is on, whether we are actually living to our moral persuasion when we are actually bringing in people who, into power, whose backgrounds have always been challenged, and even some through the courts and through impeachments, but we still, saying they are eligible for office. So these are issues that perhaps we need to look at, and I hope when these people get into that office, they will not only just be looking at filling a position because it was vacant, but contributing to how Kenyans can be more ethical, how leaders can have more integrity, and really what new things need to be done innovatively, so that we can realize the dreams that people had, that by putting some of those requirements within Chapter 6, it wasn't just for purposes of vetting of officers, but it was actually for people to live in accordance with those aspirations of the principles that are captured within Chapter 6, so that as we aspire to make a great republic, then we know that the foundation of that great republic will be leaders who have integrity. And Honorable Speaker, when you hear occasionally us giving examples of the developments taking place in Rwanda, you will see, if you look back, most of the Rwandese experience is captured in the fact that they have inculcated that culture of integrity all the way from their schools, and including, you can't cheat in exams and you can't do those things. So children get to know that this is what is right and what is wrong, what is morally right, what is morally wrong. And when people leave it, then you don't even need to have special bodies to go looking for those who have gone wayward. And we can give examples of several other countries that have gone through that route, because people believe that there's something that is moral and there's something that is obviously not acceptable. So, Honorable Speaker, I could go on, and I can see even the chair is also here. We hope he'll add some more voice when he makes his contribution. But with those few remarks, once again, I want to thank the committee, implore the new members, once they are approved by this House, to take on that challenge and turn this EACC into the body it's supposed to be, and let it never be allowed to be used for witch hunting or for political machinations, but to be the body that will return Kenya into a nation where integrity is upheld, where corruption becomes abhorred, and people believe that taking what is not yours, what belongs to the public, is actually the worst you can do to the current and future generation. When we get there, then we'll say that the commissioners we put in place were worth putting in there. And I do hope these people will rise up to that challenge. With those remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to second.
Honour members, I propose the question, which is that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs in its report on its consideration of the nominees for appointment as members of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, in brackets EACC, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, May 12, 2022, and pursuant to provisions of Section 10, subsection 3 of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Act of 2011 and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act of 2011, this House approves the appointment of Dr. Cecilia Binya Mutuko and Mr. John Ogalo as members of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. The Vice Chair of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee has also suddenly shown up. Honorable T.J. Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, sir, my salutations to you. Those who are crying, put the question, should know that we are dealing with serious matters concerning Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. If there is anything that has exerted our minds, is the situation of ethics and corruption, shall I say, in this country. And so when this matter is brought to leaders as assembled, this requires proper consensus debate and full expression of the House so that we know we have an instrument by which we can fight corruption in this country. And so bear with us, those members who would want to go to the next order, so that we examine this matter properly and that we put it where it rests. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to support the motion for consideration of these two Kenyans. You see, we have to set the law and the jurisdiction of this House in approval hearings. I heard somewhere nominees are complaining, some of them do complain, that we ask some embarrassing questions to nominees when they come before us. Some was asked one day, a nominee was asked whether she or he goes to funerals and whether she or he contributes in those funerals. I want to tell them that that is a very legitimate concern of the country and of the leaders assembled, because we want to know their community network, how they are able to push community interests when they are given public jobs. So we are not just a conveyor belt that because you have a degree or because you profess this or that, so you think you are good for the job you have. We, as representatives of the people, there is something in Article 94 and 95, which says that we are here to represent the interest of the concerns of our people. Now, what is concern? Concern includes how much you donate, even how much you donate when you go to a funeral, or how many people you have taken to school, or how much it is you are supporting issues to do with philanthropy. So when you hear some of us asking those questions, it is not because we want to, but our people of Ruaraka are asking us to ask those questions. But specifically, these nominees have been put to a lot of scrutiny by the bodies that did the interviews. Us is now to approve, looking at their general governance, if they are able to suitability under Section 7 of the Act. One of the things that you may want to note, Mr. Speaker, is that the EACC as constituted right now, there is one man and one woman. And so if appointed, the commission will have 2 women and 3 men. This is in fulfillment of Article 27(8) of the Constitution, which talks about this big problem we have in our Constitution called 2/3, that almost sent us home, and by grace of God, we are still in this house. So this thing called 2/3 is a principle that we still must we must see that is implemented. The other thing is that you see, the commission must now move to be seen as the driver of that thing called anti-ethics commission, because according to the Constitution, it is the chairperson and the commissioners. The secretariat is just the body that helps this thing to move. But now what we have, we can see a commission being driven by the secretariat more than the commission. When this is done, it gives the gap, the lacuna that exists, and it is a big problem in the fight for corruption. We hope that by addition of these people, the commission will take its place and will fight as a commission, not as a secretariat. And everybody knows, I do not know if there is anybody in this country who doesn't know, that people that ordinary wananchi are expecting to be investigated are not being investigated. We are finishing the first 10 years of devolution in this country. And if you ask business people from Homa Bay, if you ask those from Migori, they know the people who should be investigated. So you just wonder how it is it so difficult to get investigations underway that people who bear great responsibility, political and governance responsibility, are not investigated for things which are very clear or apparently clear in the face of the common people. We hope that this addition by these people will give the commission the impetus they need or they require to do their job. Mr. Speaker, a few days ago, this parliament discussed estimates. At least the policy and the estimates are underway. And we are putting a lot of money to this commission. The other time we did the supplementary, they cried that there was very little that was given to them, and that only the monies which were given to them were recurrents for salaries. But if you don't convince Kenyans that you are doing your job for which you need public money, you are not very honest to come and cry that we are not giving you money. We hope that these printed estimates that are going to come and the money that Parliament is going to push to these people will change the way in which the Commission has done its infrastructure in investigating crime and making decisions on who or how these things can be taken to the DPP for prosecution. There is a blame game between DPP's office and the Commission. I think that is very unhealthy. And we, as people who are consuming this information, we do not care what happens. We just want investigation and prosecutions done. They must find a meeting point between the Commission and the DPP in how they are going to investigate and prosecute. So, Mr. Speaker, we have now reinvigorated this office. There will be no excuse at all from the Commission in how crimes concerning corruption will be investigated and ultimately prosecuted. I want to support this, and I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for entertaining this motion before the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. They've done good work. I've quickly gone through this report, Mr. Speaker, and I've realized there are some critical issues that they managed to bring it out, Mr. Speaker. First, I want to speak about these candidates as per the report. Mr. Speaker, we've been told 30% of the national revenue goes into wastage because of corruption, Mr. Speaker. And it's indeed important that whoever was being vetted must be able to meet the threshold, Mr. Speaker. Having gone through this report, Mr. Speaker, I'm a bit disappointed first by the nominee John Ogallo. Mr. Speaker, John Ogallo, it shows he's not tax compliant. He does not have a tax compliance certificate. Mr. Speaker, even as when you are going for the elective seat, you must get a tax compliance. So it is very wrong, Mr. Speaker, for this House to approve somebody like John Ogallo, and yet it has been demonstrated that he's not tax compliant. This is a gentleman, Mr. Speaker, who lives in the United States. He was not even available, Mr. Speaker, physically for purposes of vetting. He has been away for the 25 years. He does not understand, Mr. Speaker, how critical the issues. It is here in the report. I've gone through it. Let me finish. You'll get your chance to speak. Please, I'm debating. This is a house of debate, not making noise, Mr. Speaker. And I'm entitled to my opinion because I've read the report. The gentleman is not tax compliant. How do we approve somebody, Mr. Speaker, who is not tax compliant to go sit on the board of ethics and anti-corruption. Mr. Speaker, it has been demonstrated that 30% of the national revenue, Mr. Speaker, has gone through wastage in this country. And if we entertain and bring people who are not even tax compliant, Mr. Speaker, we'll be opening Pandora's box. The gentleman has been away for 25 years. That is the time it was Moi regime. He's not aware what has happened during the Kibaki regime, even the Uhuru Kenyatta regime, Mr. Speaker. So I totally oppose this John Ogallo, Mr. Speaker, because he's not been around, he's not tax compliant, and from the report it shows he has been evasive, Mr. Speaker, to pay taxes on his rental income.
The intervention button.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to interfere with the member from doing what he must and to press his point. But just on the issue of tax, I just want to ask the member to go through his report properly, and he will see the annexures. And there is a page there from Kenya Revenue Authority, which shows that the person is tax compliant. Let him just go through his report slowly. To the end of that report in the annexures, he will see a report from the KRA. And the rest is his opinion. He is free to debate. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've gone to school properly. And on this report, when you look at page 24, Roman 1, it's clearly showing that the Kenya Revenue Authority, via letter dated 19th April 2022, submitted that the nominee was not tax compliant. It is very clear, it is simple English. And I know I've gone to school properly. I'm going as per the report. That is page 24, Roman number 1, as we move on, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, there's annexures. I'll come to that, but I'm reading at the report. This is what is here. You are the chair of the committee. This is what you have submitted, Mr. Speaker. That's why I'm saying I'm a good student. So I'm really going through your own submissions. And Mr. Speaker, the gentleman has been away also for the 25 years. We get concerned. Every Kenyan must be given an opportunity, yes. A gentleman who has been away for 25 years, as a matter of fact, he did not even find time, Mr. Speaker, to come and attend the interview or the vetting. We have so many Kenyans in this country, Mr. Speaker, who are even looking for jobs. People who are tax compliant, Mr. Speaker, and people of integrity who can do this job, as opposed to going to fish somebody from Washington or wherever he is, who is not even tax compliant. Mr. Speaker, secondly, when it comes to Dr. Cecilia, Mr. Speaker, Dr. Cecilia has very good academic credentials. He's been the head of HR in Kenya Bureau of Standards. But in her submissions, Mr. Speaker, she said clearly that in Kenya Bureau of Standards, there were these elements of corruption, whereby the unscrupulous business people in partnership with the people who work there. As an HR person, you are responsible for hiring and firing. She has not demonstrated any competence or any role she played in terms of finding out who was this facilitating corruption in Kenya Bureau of Standards with the business people, so that you can see that maybe she fired that person because she had the powers. She was the head of HR. This is a big problem in this country about fight against corruption. But I'm not convinced, Mr. Speaker, that the two nominees have what it takes to fight corruption against this country. I'm humbly requesting this House, Mr. Speaker, if we really want to continue the fight against corruption, to reject these two people, these two nominees, Mr. Speaker, so that we can get qualified Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, who can be able to do this work for purposes of helping this country to fight against corruption. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I oppose.
Member for Kilifi North.
Mr. Speaker, in line with our standing orders, I would like to raise the quorum issue. This House does not have quorum, and I think we should not continue with this debate. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, just check, Sergeant at Arms, check for me. Very well. It is true there is no quorum. Can you ring the quorum bell? But you can't, Honorable and Baya. Honorable and Baya, you can't raise the issue of quorum and then walk out. Remember, honourable members, the rules are that it's only the whips who are allowed to go out, to go at the whip. Fine, Richard. Those two members who are working, I think one of them must be the Honorable Rehema Jaldeza. That is never done that way, I think. We almost getting the quorum. How do we have done it? Remember, these people do. Only one. No. Also we are in green. Yeah. Kevin. Very well. Very well. Now we commence. Resume. Who was on the floor? Nobody? I give the floor to the Honorable Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to contribute to this motion. Honorable Speaker, the issue, the fight against corruption, has and will remain the cornerstone that's going to save this country. This country has innumerable resources, but we have been unable to take off, so to speak, because of ethics and corruption issues. Honorable Speaker, before I make general comments on the matter, I want to draw the attention of the House, and I want to support the sentiment raised by the incoming governor, inshallah, as they say, Trans Nzoia. Honorable Speaker, in the report, it's very clear in respect of the nominee, Mr. John Ogallo. When you read page 20 of the report, it clearly says, KRA confirmed via the letter number dated 19th April 2022, that John Ogallo was non-compliant as 19th April 2022. Honorable Speaker, yes, there are attachments annexes that have been provided here, and the report by Kenya Revenue Authority, the letter from Kenya Revenue Authority, dated 12th May 2022, is very clear as well. That we confirm that John Ogalo of ID number that and KRA pin that has settled the tax arrears in relation to monthly rental income by making payment of 108,500 by way of RTGS dated 11th May, and applied for a payment plan dated that to clear the balance of 302. Honorable Speaker, what the import of that letter is that the nominee simply cleared the tax arrears because he wanted to attend the interview. Honorable Speaker, he had no intentions at all in his life to pay taxes, yet he received income in form of rental income. He misfiled deliberately, so to speak, and undeclared the income that was due to the country. Honorable Speaker, indeed this brings an integrity issue. How can we have somebody who is going to sit in an integrity-related committee and yet decline to pay taxes, only pay the taxes because he had been offered the job? In any sense, Honorable Speaker, it beats the logic. We are talking about Ethics and Corruption Committee, and yet again the nominee we are proposing to nominate to sit in the committee has integrity issues. Failure to pay taxes, Honorable Speaker, might not be corruption, but it's an integrity issue. How, Honorable Speaker? It means just, common sense. How do we proceed, Honorable Speaker, in light of this arrangement? Honorable Speaker, we would then become a laughing stock. How can you send somebody who has got integrity issues to preside over integrity issues? Honorable Speaker, if the standing order allows, if the law allows, probably could isolate and drop the name of Ogalo and proceed with the name of the other nominee. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, this gentleman was never lived in Kenya, who did not even have the courtesy of traveling back to Kenya to attend the committee meeting, attended by virtually. So, Honorable Speaker, we are creating another case like we have visited West Pokot, where the deputy governor has lived in the U.S. all throughout 5 years, earning public funds, yet not working for the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, it has nothing to do with whether politics or not, but here these are core issues in respect of this matter. Honorable Speaker, the gentleman says he will come in May, 22nd May, to return to Kenya. That's only if he is assured the job will be given. Is he Kenyan enough? Honestly speaking, Honorable Speaker, is he Kenyan enough? Having been away for far too long, the only thing he knows about Kenya is through theory, reading literature, but doesn't have the hard facts about Kenya, does not even understand Kenya. If you live away for 20 years and so, surely, Honorable Speaker, you cannot purport to be able to understand the issues of integrity and everything. Honorable Speaker, this is not a good nominee. Is not suitable nominee for the position that is being tabled here, Honorable Speaker. We must find a way, a mechanism, how we can isolate and drop that name so that whoever the appointing authority goes back and does further details, further research, and get us a person qualified enough, competent enough, and who understands the fight at hand so that that nominee can be allowed to go through. Second, Honorable Speaker, the other nominee, Cecil, again, Honorable Speaker, has got an impressive CV, but the blot is that when she was at KBC, she did nothing to solve integrity issues at KBC. But probably it could be a system problem. We can excuse her for that matter. But for this Ogalo guy, Honorable Speaker, I urge my members of this House and I urge members of the public that indeed this is a wrong nominee for that particular post. Honorable Speaker, the fight against corruption must be intensified. The friction between ESCC and the Office of the Office of the Prosecution is a matter that needs to be settled. And I hope the JLAC will find a way in the next parliament to solve that animosity, whereby the ESCC investigates, submits files, and if the Director of Public Prosecution does not prosecute for obvious reasons where here and there. Honorable Speaker, because of that, you find people who are so corrupt, people who have got integrity issues, are being cleared to have to hold public offices. They are going to come and sit here in this house, and obviously, Honorable Speaker, they will be the forefront to curtail or even slow down the fight against corruption. And that's why it is important, Honorable Speaker, that as a country, we must integrate integrity issues in our training system, in our education system, and it must be a value amongst the children, amongst the people of Kenya. We purport to be Christians. We purport to profess the Muslim faith. Yet it is very clear what is wrong and what is right. It beats the essence. Why do we wake up in the morning carrying the Bible, sitting solemnly in church, and then behind when we go back home or after church, we go and commit crimes? We steal public funds. We just simply do things that does not add up. Honorable Speaker, it's a matter that we need to address as a society. You go to many places, Honorable Speaker. The other day, Quarters of Parliament, I was in Singapore. Honorable Speaker, in Singapore, they have very few policemen. They don't have anti-corruption authority, simply because the culture of good manners, the culture of moral values has been calculated in the people to an extent that they do not need to be policed. But give a typical Kenyan, he's in a hurry, he's in a rush to make money. And that's why when the devolution came, the bat around town that we devolved corruption into the villages and everywhere. Wherever you go nowadays, Honorable Speaker, you see village billionaires, you see village millionaires, so that now you find people, young people, no longer do not want to work, do not want to study. They simply know all you need to do to become an entrepreneur and you will make money. And that's why many of them, Honorable Speaker, are unable. They believe that you just sit there, things will draw from manna.
Yes,
that's why
what's your point of order?
Yes.
Is a point of order?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is not my wish to interrupt Honorable Dr. Undo, but because he is repeating something that was already said and repeating it with authority, we need your guidance, Mr. Speaker. When one states as a matter of fact that a nominee is not tax compliant, it should be consistent with the documents. I have here Annexure 9, which bears a letter from KRA in respect of Mr. John Ogallo, dated 12th May 2022. And the ultimate paragraph says, therefore, we wish to advise the Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs that Mr. John Ogallo is now tax compliant, pending the determination of the private ruling. Mr. Speaker, this letter says, and is a subsequent document, that Mr. Ogallo is tax compliant. When a member then submits his views and states as a matter of fact that he is not tax compliant, and yet he's been certified by the body that should certify, is that in order? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Undo.
Honorable Speaker, the nominees, the names of the nominees were presented in this House on 12th April. I suppose I think committed to the committee on 12th April. The nominee got tax compliance on 19th or 12th May. 1 month or several months later, after applying for the job. The question we are asking, how do you fail to pay taxes and it becomes an integrity issue? You rush to go get compliance certificate, you pay even half, a quarter of the amount due, and then you claim to go sit on integrity committee. Honorable Speaker, morals. It has nothing to do with the law.
Well, I hand you another 1 minute, which was taken by the...
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, it's a moral issue. It's an integrity issue. You refuse to pay taxes, you come to apply to become Speaker, hopefully next Parliament, and then when we say you don't comply, you are not pay taxes, You rush in the morning to go get tax compliance certificate, but because there's tyrant of numbers, in the afternoon we vote for you as Speaker. What kind of message are you sending to the people of Kenya? What message are you sending to the children? What are you saying, Honorable Speaker? Let's be serious with life once. Let Parliament be serious for once with this matter of integrity. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
But you gave the example of myself, Honorable Udo, that I rush and obtain and come and get tyranny of numbers too. anyhow, you have your point of view, and the Honorable TJ Kajuang and Honorable Otiende have their own interpretations of the documents. I think let's just allow everybody to make their contribution. Honorable, sorry, who was next now? Majibo Kalasinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we must reject these names in totality. Why we must, Mr. Speaker? I was even looking at Dr. Cecil, Mr. Speaker. This is a lady, Mr. Speaker, who was the head of HR, Mr. Speaker, in KEPS, Mr. Speaker. While she was a HR in KEPS, Mr. Speaker, there were ills, there were issues about how Kenyans were fed on wrong water, Mr. Speaker. The market flooded with bad water, which was a failure of the department, Mr. Speaker. And she never had anything. She never fired, Mr. Speaker. If, Mr. Speaker, we can have leaders who can feed on Kenyans wrong water, Mr. Speaker, on the market. We are giving contaminated water, Mr. Speaker. And she's watching, Mr. Speaker. She takes no issues. Nobody was sacked, Mr. Speaker. Even no report has been written about that. He is the same person, Mr. Speaker, who wants to come and oversight and make Kenya good. Mr. Speaker, if you are feeding us on that water, what makes you not feed us on that information when you get in this office, Mr. Speaker? So, Mr. Speaker, by all this information, Mr. Speaker, we want to at least for once, Mr. Speaker, this House must, Mr. Speaker, let it be used. Let it be used, Mr. Speaker, to bring sanity in Kenya. Our sons and our daughters are watching us, Mr. Speaker. They are watching how we make leaders in this country. If we pick from wrong departments, from wrong corrupt deeds, Mr. Speaker, they will also want to go the same way, so that they come up in the future. So, should we want to have a better Kenya, we must pick leaders from the right departments. Kenya, Mr. Speaker, Kenya is not short of clean people. Kenya is not short of right people. Kenya is not short of people who have not done bad things, Mr. Speaker. So if I go back and check from this document, Mr. Speaker, one who fed Kenyans with wrong water, she's the one who wants to become to oversight. Mr. Speaker, I totally disagree, and let us reject these two names in totality, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Igembe Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this report. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, Mr. Speaker, I reject this report, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, without much ado, Mr. Speaker, we should not be dwelling too much on this issue, Mr. Speaker. If it has been proven that this John Ogalo was not a tax compliant before he was being made aware that he is going to be appointed for this position, if at all he didn't get that opportunity to get appointed, then he could have not paid his taxes. So he decided to pay his taxes so that he can qualify. But if it's a matter of integrity, why was he not paying his taxes regularly? And if he was not paying his taxes regularly, Mr. Speaker, I personally concluded that he should be disqualified from this position. Mr. Speaker, when he was doing his interview, he did his interview visually. Mr. Speaker, an interview of this matter, of this magnitude, where you are going to be a commissioner in the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Mr. Speaker, you must be there in person. Your personal presence is very important, so that at least you could face the panelists. Mr. Speaker, even when you go for other interviews, even in TSC or any other one, there are even marks which are awarded for your physical appearance there. How are you dressed? your mannerisms and the way you respond to others. But when you do an interview of this magnitude, 9,000 kilometers away, 12,000 kilometers away, and then you are said to be compliant, Mr. Speaker, I oppose. Mr. Speaker, he was patriotic enough, Mr. Speaker, he could have come here to Kenya and direct and face the panelists immediately, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, he has yet even to come to Kenya because he is waiting for us to pass his name here. And once his name is accepted, Mr. Speaker, that is when he will fly back to Kenya. Mr. Speaker, we have got many Kenyans who are qualified for this job here in Kenya, patriots who are very ready to work for this country diligently and patriotically. And once they are ready to be here, despite that they don't have those jobs, but they are ready to serve this country, Mr. Speaker. So let Owalo stay where he is, and let's pick another Kenyan who is ready to serve the country from within, Mr. Speaker. I oppose the report.
Member for Kwanza.
Mr. Speaker, please let me draw your attention to the fact that as we are debating today, people are seeing, watching, hearing each one of us make a contribution. This House has some respect. This House makes law, and we must live by the law. The Speaker, it's nothing personal. I don't even know who this John Okoran, most of us don't know. But the fact that there's an integrity question on him, Mr. Speaker, I ask this House, as the previous speaker said, we have so many Kenyans who are qualified. Let's get somebody else, let's suspend this, and look for somebody else, or at least re-advertise, get people who can be able to take up the job. Because, Mr. Speaker, it's not fair for us to pass somebody with that kind of question mark. And by the way, going to anti-corruption. Mr. Speaker, I think it's only fair that I don't know this gentleman, none of us know him, and there's nothing, it's not even, the name doesn't say anything. All we are saying is that he does not qualify. Simple as that. We can't go back and go forth and this, I don't even see. I want us to agree, suspend this particular application. It's not the end of the world. Then just reject it. Then it goes re-advertise. We'll have many Kenyans who have gone to school. I've been in America. There are those in America who don't even know anything about Kenya. I can tell you, I've been in America 3-4 times. I even did my training in Rochester because I became the regional sales and marketing manager for Kodak. And I was there. You meet Kenyans who have no idea about Kenya. And then you bring me here on anti-corruption? Surely, 25 years back, no, we have many other Kenyans that can be able to do that job. The Speaker, I think it's unfair that we actually dismiss this, reject this particular debate and move on so they can do other businesses or for the House. I reject.
Member for Laisamis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for equally giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, the nominees who have been proposed by the Legal Justice and Legal Affairs Committee for the appointment to the ESCC nominees, I think in regard to the information I've also gathered is that Mr. Dr. Cecily Mbinya Mutuku and Mr. John Ogalo did their interview through virtual communication. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, this country, I've come across where we have members of the armed forces, very senior officers actually, to the rank of major generals, who have retired, some still in their very young age, and very vibrant, very useful to the growth and prosperity of this country. And they have actually acquired a lot of knowledge while they were still in the institution, and yet those people are just left, just like that, without anyone having track of what they are doing back at home.
You can imagine people where the Kenya government have invested in them, taking care of the security of the nation. And upon some of them reaching even the retirement age, and some of them are being laid off because everybody cannot become the Major General of the armed forces. And equally, the same applies even in the public service. The same applies even in the police service. That is why, Mr. Speaker, in some instances, you'll realize somebody called Mr. Ali, who left the Kenya Defense Forces to come and transform the police service. He actually did a very exemplary job while in the police service. We need this kind of personalities to take over running of affairs of institutions such as Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Now, if we come across people like Ogalo and this another gentleman who have no integrity issues, who have questionable integrity issues, they cannot even be able to do returns for their taxes. And yet they are the ones who are being given integrity to come and manage the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. It is a laughing matter. It is a laughing matter. Actually, such kind of candidates, by the way, this Ogalo, I'm trying to assume that is the same gentleman who was being chased away from the Kenya Prison Service as a commissioner. If that is the case, we are trying to recycle the same kind of people. Mr. Speaker, for those few remarks, I think it is good we try to bring on board some of the people who have integrity issues for this kind of appointments. And the last not the least, Mr. Speaker, many a times we tend to promote minority people from the minority tribes, including the people with disability and women in this country, for such appointments. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, I come from a community called Rendile. Rendile are one of the very minority tribes in Kenya. Unfortunately, every single appointment from the time I got elected into this parliament, I have never come across one single Rendile who is being appointed for this kind of positions. Are we not equal to other Kenyans? Does it mean Rendiles don't have an equal opportunity like other Kenyans? Does it mean? What is the problem? So why do we have that clause in the Constitution where the Constitution says that minority have also their say? Mr. Speaker, for this reason, I think next time such kind of appointments are coming, it is better they come and seek redress from this House so that we try to deliberate on who should be brought and who should not be brought, rather than people just pushing in names of people whom we don't know. They try to throw them through the window and through the door. For those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, thank you and God bless you.
Honorable Tiende Amolo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is an august House, and these proceedings are on record. And there are certain things that we say we should be careful about, especially when we say things of people who cannot defend themselves on the floor of this House. The first point to note, Mr. Speaker, and the report is clear, page 18, that when objections were invited, page 21, in respect of these two nominees, not a single person, or including all the members now speaking so eloquently on this House, appeared to raise an issue. When you don't raise an issue against someone in the only committee where he can defend themselves, then you can't come here and lecture us at length about the various objections that you have, because they cannot come here. The rules of natural justice require that everyone must have the right of rebuttal. When you deny them that right, then you come and raise it in the floor of this House when you know they cannot come here. That is not fair. Secondly, members must be cognizant of our own rules and of your many rulings, Mr. Speaker. You cannot stand and say that there are two nominees. I suggest you reject this one and you approve the other one. It has always been very clear. You either reject all or accept all. And when you stand here, Mr. Speaker, could the hecklers behind here please allow me? I did not say anything. Yes. When you are making the point, I did not speak. You cannot come here, Mr. Speaker, on such a fundamental matter, and then you come and say that you think that the former Commissioner of Prisons is the same person. Seriously?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What is your point of order?
Point of order is Honorable Otienda Molo, whom I respect very much, Mr. Speaker, in order to refer to other honorable members that they are hecklers. This is a house of debate, and everybody is entitled in his opinion, Mr. Speaker. No. Mr. Speaker, this is a house of debate.
You are right. It's not in order to refer to other honorable members at hecklers. Honorable Otienda Molo.
That is true, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, I want you to give me the proper word to describe members who speak without being given the opportunity to speak by the Speaker. What should that word be? Then I will be happy to replace it as may be appropriate. Mr. Speaker, the second point I want to make is that, you know, when you use certain words, like a person lacking integrity, this is fundamental, Mr. Speaker. In this bundle, we have a letter from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, a letter that is dated, the letter is actually dated, where's the date? 24th April, which clearly states that as far as the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is concerned, they have no integrity issues with these two nominees. Who are you to come here on the floor of Parliament and find that a person has integrity issues when that body that is concerned with it does not? More importantly, Mr. Speaker, I had just drawn attention to the letter from the KRA of 12th May 2022. It is important to note, one, that in terms of the Act, the clearance from KRA is not a legal requirement. It is a procedural requirement that is imposed by the committee. So you cannot use such a procedural requirement as an impediment to approval. But also, it is important to know that there is nowhere in that procedural requirement that says that you must get that clearance before or at the time of approval or of applying. It is sufficient that at the time of consideration by the committee, they are satisfied that you have been cleared. And that is what happened here. But also, Mr. Speaker, you know, members have not taken time to even read that letter. If you look at the reports, you will see that the question of tax compliance on page 24 is an issue that arose when the nominee of his own volition approached the KRA, of his own volition. That's when the KRA said that there are some rental incomes which he had earned abroad, which in their view are taxable. How can that be an integrity issue? Now, when you earn, you know...
Now, honour members, now points of argument, if those are points of argument, it's not points of order, please. You have read, each of you has read those letters, the letter being referred to. You interpret it as you wish.
Thank you.
Then finally, you make a decision.
Absolutely.
So please allow him to also advance his position.
So, Mr. Speaker, the question is a question of rental income earned abroad. For any Kenyan who's living abroad or who has lived abroad knows that these tax regimes can be very complex. There is income you can earn abroad and it's not payable, you don't have to pay tax. But there is income in respect of which you are obligated to pay tax. When KRA then determined that this particular Kenyan needed to pay tax, he has proceeded to comply. How can that be an integrity issue? Mr. Speaker, number 4, members are taking issue with the question of virtual appearance. Our own standing orders allows virtual appearance. Mr. Speaker, even until as recently as I think a month or two ago, we were debating, including the Senate, virtually. How can you then fault a Kenyan who cannot travel because of COVID restrictions and chooses to appear within the rules of our own standing orders? You cannot hold them against that. Mr. Speaker, members are saying you cannot give a Kenyan who's been away a job. Our constitution allows Kenyans to even have dual citizenship. You cannot discriminate against a Kenyan because they live somewhere else. In fact, this Kenyan is shown to have worked for many years at the World Bank on the Department of Governance. What better person do you need to fight corruption than this person? We know that in this country, we have brought Kenyans who have been abroad, including the former Auditor General, who had been abroad for almost 20 years. But when he came back, he put proper systems of audit, and we all agreed that Auditor General Ouko did a good job. Mr. Speaker, I think that we should be very careful. Clearly, the composition of the ESCC, once we accept these two, will actually meet the regional and ethnic balance. I am not quite sure why my honorable brothers from the Western Circuit are having an issue with this particular nominee. But I also come from Western Circuit. I had said I need the proper word. When already the chair of the commission is from that circuit. We need other people from Makueni, as they are here. We need other people from Migori. You do not just oppose for the sake of opposing. Last, Mr. Speaker, I have seen that there's a question here on page 23, when this particular nominee was asked his views on electing people with integrity question, and his response was clearly that he does not support anybody to be elected for any office if they are facing charges. I think, Mr. Speaker, there's a soft resistance to constituting and enabling the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. People who do not like the word integrity to appear anywhere, who do not want the commission to work, want to kill the commission through the back door. Because the commissioners are only 3 right now. If one was unable to come, there is no commission. Who will benefit when there is no anti-corruption commission? Mr. Speaker, we must approve these nominees, we must empower the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, and we must move on. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honour members, remember, all of you have contributed. But the matter is about what is in the report. You ought to have done it. In an event, you spoke for only 3 minutes. You had 10 minutes. So you squandered your opportunity to, on this general debate, you have 10 minutes. But when you speak for 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes, and then later you want to point of order, I mean, it's really, that's becoming clever by an inch. Yeah? Please, from my list, the only person who appears here who has not contributed is the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Do you want to contribute to this debate on this one or the other one? Very well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, at the onset, I want to say I support this motion. And Mr. Speaker, I want to declare at the onset that I don't know any of them. Indeed, I've actually had to clarify when I had a member referring to Mr. John Ogallo as the John Ogallo who was in prisons, and I'm told he is not. So as members of the House, we also need to refrain from whipping up emotions and speak factually. If it was the Mr. Ogallo of the prisons, perhaps would have raised that there may have been an issue raised about him. There is no issue that's been raised about this Mr. John Ogallo in relation to the Kenya prisons. Mr. Speaker, I am actually perturbed listening to very progressive members of the House who are using digital processes to communicate have a problem with a virtual interview. I wish that our main problem was something else. But we cannot sit here in this era and time and age like cavemen and cavewomen talking that you must appear before us in person. This is not a court of law where we want to look at your demeanor. And even in a court of law, if we look at your demeanor, we can also assess your demeanor virtually. So I don't understand what this story about that somebody is interviewed virtually. So what if you are interviewed virtually? Those who want to be interviewed else in different ways, really, that's up to you. But in this age and time in this country, that is the direction everyone is going. We are going digital. So why would you want to take us to a Stone Age era? Mr. Speaker, I think it is embarrassing even for members of parliament.
Honorable Millie, I think you've spoken very well on that point, but maybe you needed to just make the point, which I thought Honorable Otiende Molo almost alluded to, that actually in 2020, this House, in its wisdom, collectively, amended the standing orders to provide for virtual transaction of business, and even during that period, interviewed many Kenyans virtually. So I think it is a moot point.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, actually, for even emphasizing that. I didn't actually want to speak to it because I had Honorable Otiende alluding to it. And that is why I'm saying if we really want to defeat or rather, if we want to oppose this list, let us have cogent reasons, but not that somebody has not been interviewed virtually. Mr. Speaker, the other issue that I want to take issue with is the issue that the gentleman that a number of members have been complaining about, is the issue of tax compliance. Mr. Speaker, I have said this on the floor of the House before, and I'll say it again, that even I at one point had a tax issue with the KRA. One day I was sitting here and then they sent me a letter saying you owe us 3 million Kenya shillings. And I said, for what? Then when I went, I discovered my official name is Millie Odhiambo, but there is a woman trading as Millicent Odhiambo who is trading on maize. So they came and told me that I was actually even taken to court for trading in maize and not paying taxes for 3 million Kenya shillings, taxes on maize. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you know that when I'm here, I hardly have time to trade on maize. But before you clear that, every lawyer here will tell you before it is sorted out, first of all, I'm innocent, but other than that, it means it is an ongoing matter and it will actually hold me back on any issue. But it does not make me guilty. Neither does it make me complicit. I will give you live examples that have happened in this House. One time, Honorable Catherine Muma appeared before us as a select committee on the Constitution. We had a bit more powers then to make appointments in the transitional constitution. And I remember Honorable Martha Karua, which I'm very happy was appointed actually as our deputy presidential candidate. Honorable Martha raised an issue about Catherine after she came before us as a committee. And she raised an issue about a civil matter of non-payment of some money. But Catherine had already appeared before us as a committee. What did we do? The committee had to call Catherine back and question her again on that issue. And she cleared and she got the job. Because this is a civil matter, it's not a criminal matter. They are disputing tax. And once the tribunal is done, he may clear him. So you cannot hold somebody accountable with an ongoing matter which is of a civil nature. Even of a criminal nature, you are not guilty until you are convicted. Everybody is presumed innocent until proven guilty. But this is even a civil matter. So you can't hold somebody to account because he has a dispute with KRA on tax. And Mr. Speaker, I can also tell you that even KRA on issues of people who stay abroad, they will always have an issue of double taxation. It will not come up only on this one but on others. I would want to encourage the members of the House. Majority of you actually look like you are, because this is a fairly young House, you are in your 50s and your 40s. Your children will not stay here in Kenya. So let's quit already with this issue that we seem to have with people who are out of the country. They are our children, they are our brothers, they are our sisters. I saw it when we were moving the Constitution, when people were opposing even people who have dual citizenship. But Kenya, we can't get jobs. Even when you go now, when you are campaigning, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure all of you can see it. Kenyans are desperate and are hungry because there are no jobs. So if you can get jobs outside, why are you actually begrudging people who got jobs outside when they couldn't get here? If the job has run its course and it qualifies, please, let us get better reasons for even opposing people. I would want to say for my brother from Rendile, I understand you that minorities need to be added. And I'll support you next time for any commission that comes, because I'm also a minority, I'm a Suba. And you will say, I'm not only saying it for purposes of today, that I am actually a great champion of minority rights, because I'm a minority myself. My father is a Suba, my mother is a Luo. Perhaps one thing people don't know. And because of that, I push a minority agenda. But what we agreed, which the Speaker made a ruling about, that when we are looking at about issues of diversity, you look at totality of commissions. If you have a commission where we are replacing 2 or 3 people, how do you represent the face of Kenya in 42 or 43? Now we even have the Zimbabwean ones we added recently, my in-laws. So how will we, those ones have not even been given the chairman of a cattle dip already. So if we want to add my Zimbabwe relative, surely, I think let us be honest as members of the House. And if we want to attack somebody, let us attack them with good reason. Remember, what you are doing to someone will one day be done to you or to your child. Let us not try and behave here as though the people who are brought here to us are chairs or stools or whatever. They are human beings, they are Kenyans, who also have families and have needs like us. The same way I'll be happy one day for your children if they get a position, it's the same way be happy for this John Ogallo who I don't know if he gets a position. If there was a serious issue on integrity, I don't care where he comes from, I would be the first person to oppose, because I'm very strong on governance issues. I would oppose. But having listened to members, I was almost tempted at some point to even infer that the problem was that the name begins with an O. But because no member made that inference, I will not say it. But I hope that we spell away any such thought from our minds and think Kenyan, because we are all Kenyan. And if somebody qualifies and has no blot, there is no governance blot in his CV, let them get what they deserve. So my brother, I'm sure the next time you have a Rendile, we will support. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Very well, well spoken, Honorable Millie. From my list, the only person who hasn't spoken on this, but still appears, even though I see he's out, is the Honorable John Bunyasi, member for Nambale. But his name appears here, but I know he normally sits up there. He's not there. So even if I try to give him a chance to speak, I don't know whether his card is there or... Maybe there's a, but his name appears, it's showing but so honor members, for obvious reasons, we can only now call the mover to reply. The Honorable Shamala.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to thank the members for this very robust debate and discussion. Special thanks to Honorable Otende Amolo for standing up really for rights of people who are not here to defend themselves and do not have a right of reply. I do not want to reopen the debate. I just want to say something that has not been said here. We must never forget the billions of shillings that the Kenyans in the diaspora are contributing to the economy of this country. Indeed, and in fact, during the COVID pandemic, if it were not for them sending this money home, then we ourselves know how terrible and how worse or just incredibly terrible the situation would have been. I think to disrespect our Kenyans who are in the diaspora as being lesser Kenyans is really a complete, absolute negative act of you are not patriotic. You cannot say that a Kenyan who works in the diaspora is not fit for a job in this country. With those few remarks, I do beg to reply.
Thank you very much. That should conclude that bit. What remains is for the question to be put, which will be done when the House next sits, whenever that may be. Next order.
Order number 10, Committee of the Whole House.
Order, order. Members, you are now in committee of the whole House to consider We are now in committee of the whole House to consider the Children's Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2021. Yes, we had partially considered this bill up to 129. So now we'll start at 130.
Clause 130.
I propose the question that clause 130 be part of the bill. Now, my understanding is that the Honorable Koske is representing the chair of the Labor Committee, and he will be, for purposes of this session, be referred to as the chair. And the Honorable Billy, who has substantial proposals to amend, is also present. So those two will be featuring prominently in this proceeding. Yes, I propose the question that clause 130 be part of the bill. You have an amendment, yes, the Honorable Millie. Proceed.
Mr. Chair, I'm actually embarrassed that I've just told the members about being IT compliant and I can't open my own computer. Thank you, Chair. Chair, I'm just wondering, or I was concerned that we needed the support of the legal team because we actually had a harmonization meeting. And I can see Doreen is here, but I hope Sydney is coming as well. Because if they are here, then we will be able to move faster. Chair, I wish to propose an amendment to clause 130, but with a further amendment, Mr. Chair. Chair, in my proposed amendment to clause 130, I was proposing that we insert a new paragraph immediately after paragraph C in the order paper. Chair, I'm opposed because I'm proposing a further amendment and you're a little distracted.
Yes, proceed.
Yes, I'm proposing a further amendment, which we have agreed with the chair of the committee, that had introduced the concept of an interested person, but we have agreed to adopt a different meaning. So I'm doing a further amendment to my own amendment. Instead of calling it an interested person, I will then use the term a person acting on behalf and in the best interest of a child. Chair, what basically this means is that we have persons that are identified in the bill as authorized people, which includes police officers, children officers, and all that. But you may have a situation where a neighbor sees something bad happening to a child, so we want to make sure that such a person can also take action. So that is a person acting on behalf and in the best interest of a child. So I move.
I propose the question that clause 130 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Mili. The Chair, you have something to say to this? You agree. Very well. Therefore, that allows me then to put the question that clause 130 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Mili. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 130 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 131.
I propose the question that clause 131 be part of the bill. The Chair, you have a proposal to amend this.
Chair, I move that clause 131 be amended as per the order paper. And this is just to align with nomenclature changes as the Directorate of Children's Services is now headed by the Secretary of Children's Services.
I propose the question that clause 131 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I now put the question that clause 131 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question. The Honorable Mili, you have, yes, you have a further amendment to this. I am not saying that. Proceed, the Honorable Mili.
Thank you, Chair. I move that clause 131 to be amended, but with a further amendment, so that instead of using an interested person, we use the words a person acting on and in the best interest of a child, just like the previous amendment. Thank you. I so move.
I propose the question that clause 131 be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Mili Odhiambo. Chair? I now put the question that clause 131 be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Mili Odhiambo. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 131 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 132.
I propose the question that clause 132 be part of the bill. Chair, you have a proposal to this?
I move that clause 132 be amended as per the order paper, and this is the reason to provide for recognition of a guardianship appointed under customary law.
I propose the question that clause 132 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I now put the question that clause 132 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 132 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 133.
I propose the question clause 133 be part of the bill. There's no amendment to this. I therefore put the question that clause 133 be part of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 134.
I propose the question that clause 134 be part of the bill. The Honorable Mili.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 134 be amended as per the order paper, but with a further amendment to subclause C, and I'm going to explain why. So that Chair, the other ones really are really simple amendments. In the first one, we are removing "and" after the word "receive," because then, Mr. Speaker, we are dealing with the disjunctive, not conjunctive issue. And then also adding the word "misleading," so that it's not just false, but also misleading in the bill. But in which one is this? Sorry, by deleting, I was proposing that we delete the word "exceeding" appearing after the word "fine" and substitute the word "of not less than." Chair, what I'm proposing is, let me just refer to the bill because I'm proposing a further amendment there. And I'm sorry, Chair, because we were actually looking at this earlier. So, in the offense, I'm proposing that instead of the way I've worded it right now, that the only thing we do is to say a fine not exceeding $500,000, not 5 million, not 1 million shillings.
The Honorable Millie, there's going to be a problem.
Yes.
With following the text of your proposal to that.
Let me explain myself. I think the reason why it might be a problem, because I'm allowed to do a further amendment to my own amendment. Let me take them one by one. So I will say in subclause, my first proposal in clause 134 of the bill be amended in subclause 1 by deleting the word "and" after the word "receive." So I hope, Chair, that one you are following me, because it would give it a totally different meaning. And then, by inserting the words "or misleading" immediately after the words "false" in paragraph C.
In order?
Is that in order?
Yes.
Then, Chair, I'm going to the offenses. My proposal was to delete the words "exceeding." Sorry. Oh, thank you. Chair, I've actually been helped because we had a meeting earlier. Yes, so Chair, what I'm doing is to drop the word. I think this is confusing me further. Let me just go the way I was going. So, Chair, what I had proposed earlier in the last one, because we have agreed on the first two, my original proposal was to delete the word "exceeding" after the words "fine not" and substitute the words "of not less than." Instead, what I'm saying is that I drop that specific amendment and instead delete the word "1" and replace with "5." So my proposal is in that paragraph is delete 1 and replace with 5. That's all. That's my further amendment. Are you following me? I can read it out.
5 million, eh?
Yes.
Okay.
So it becomes commits an offense and shall on conviction be liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years or to a fine not exceeding 5 million shillings or to both. And the reason why I'm doing further amendment after consultation is that it gives great latitude but still gives discretion to the magistrate or the judge.
We've got you, the Honorable Millie. Proceed.
Thank you. So I move.
I now propose the question that clause 134 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie. And now put the question that clause 134 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 134 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 135.
I propose the question that clause 135 be part of the bill. There's no proposal to this. I therefore put the question that clause 135 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 136.
I propose the question that clause 136 be part of the bill. The Honorable Millie? Well, the chair also has one to this. We will start with the chair, then we'll come to you as the Honorable Millie.
Clause 136. I move that clause 136 be amended as per the order paper. And this is to align with nomenclature changes as the Directorate of Children's Services is now headed by the Secretary of Children's Services.
I propose the question that clause 136 be amended as proposed by the chair. And now put the question that clause 136 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Honorable Millie, you may move yours.
Chair, I propose to move my amendment, but with, again, a further amendment. It's similar to the previous ones I'd moved, where I'd proposed an amendment by putting an interested person, but instead we are using the terminology, a person acting on behalf and in the best interest of the child. I will be handing over this just to help the technical team follow. I so move.
I propose the question that clause 136 be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. I now put the question that clause 136 be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 136 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 137.
I propose the question that clause 137 be part of the bill, Chair.
Clause 137, I move that clause 137 be amended as per the order paper. And Chair, the reason is to correct the numbering, inserting 1 immediately after the number 137. And the other justification is the word fit is limiting. The amendment seeks to empower the court to issue the non-interference order referred to under paragraph I against any person, not just a fit person. This is an order given to prevent a person from interfering in the life of a child.
I propose the question that clause 137 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 137 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 137 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clauses 138 and 139.
I propose the question that clauses 138 and 139 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 138 and 139 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 140.
I propose the question that clause 140 be part of the bill. The Honorable Millie.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 140 be further amended by, instead of using the words interested person, we put a person acting on behalf and in the interest of the child. So I'm doing a further amendment to my own amendment as per the earlier ones. I so move.
I propose the question that clause 140 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie. I now put the question that clause 140 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 140 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 141.
I I propose the question that clause 141 be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 141 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 142.
I propose the question that clause 142 be part of the bill. The Honorable Millie?
Thank you, Chair. I move that clause 142 be amended, but with a further amendment. And the further amendment is that I will drop the two by the word exceeding which I had proposed, and instead, and of not less than, but instead substitute the words 100,000 with the word million, 1 million. So the only amendment I will have is replace 100,000 with 1 million, which makes it enhances the sentence, but still gives latitude to the magistrate and discretion. Thank you.
Very well. I now propose the question that clause 142 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. I put the question that clause 142 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 142 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 143.
I propose the question that clause 143 be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 143 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 144.
I propose the question that clause 144 be part of the bill. The Honorable Millie.
Thank you, Chair. I move that clause 144 be amended as per the order paper. And Chair, the reason is that using the word street child stigmatizes the child. So I suggest that we call the child a child living on or off the streets, but not a street child. I so move.
I propose the question that clause 144 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. I now put the question that clause 144 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 144 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 145.
I propose the question that clause 145 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 145 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 146.
I propose the question that clause 146 be part of the bill. There are two proposals to this. We'll start with the chairs, then we'll deal with Millies, the Honorable Millies. Chair?
I move that clause 146 be amended as per the order paper. Chair, we need to. A minute.
Very well.
Point of order, Chair.
The Honorable Millie?
Maybe just to help the Chair, because I know we had earlier consultations.
Yes, yes.
It might actually, it might help him if he then moves them one by one.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So
That's in order. You may proceed in that manner.
okay, I drop A and C. I remain with B. The B is to protect children whose parents have mental illnesses in the paragraph R.
You are missing an important one. Oh, okay, it's okay, it's okay.
So, Chair, can you just retake it so that we are clear exactly what you are dropping and what is remaining?
Honorable Chair, I drop my amendments on that.
Point of order, Chair.
So that you move yours.
Chair, sorry, it's a bit unique because we actually had discussions earlier. The committee actually has very good amendments, and I think because this bill is very, very big, so there may be a bit of confusion. I think the only one that the committee agreed to, we agreed the committee should drop is paragraph U, I think, so that the committee would then move their amendment in paragraph K that inserts the word intersex genital mutilation, in B by inserting the word mentally ill, in U by deleting, also the U is the one that they drop theirs and I pick. I don't know if the chair is following.
Yes, I'm following.
So that the chair would be moving the first two amendments.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, Chair, you may wish to restate that you are not dropping because the record is that you have dropped, but you seem to.
I think there's slight correction, Chair. Sorry.
Yes, proceed.
Clause 146. I move that clause 146 be amended as per the order paper, and the justification on A is to protect children who may undergo intersex genital mutilation to also benefit. And B is to protect children whose parents have mental illnesses in paragraph R. But I drop C.
Yes.
I drop C, Chair.
Now that is clear. I now propose the question that clause 146 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as our opinion say?
Yes.
Yeah. I now put the question that clause 146 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of our opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The Honorable Millie?
Chair, I move that clause 146 be amended as per the order paper. And Chair, in A and AA, what we are basically doing is being very, very clear about children in need of care and protection, and also adding some categories that have been left out. And for instance, children who engage in sexual conduct of any kind, because the one that is already there, deleting U, which seems to imply that children can engage in sexual conduct at some level when actually it's considered a criminal offense. And then in those who, or children who are intersex and subjected to or likely to subjected to discriminatory treatment. And then in paragraph FF, by deleting the word differential and substituting it with discriminatory. And the reason is because, Chair, discriminatory is negative, but differential is not necessarily negative. It's more of an affirmative action initiative. And then inserting new instances where a child may be in need of care and protection under GG, or after GG, which would include HH, children from terminal or debilitating or chronic illnesses and whose parents are not able to take care, or children in need of medical treatment but are denied access for religious purposes. I so move.
I propose the question that clause 146 be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. And now put the question that clause 146 be amended further as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of our opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And now put the question that clause 146 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of our opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 147.
I propose the question that clause 147 be part of the bill. Chair?
Chair, I move that clause 147 be amended as per the order paper. And the reason is because, Chair, discriminatory treatment of children who may undergo intersex genital mutilation to also benefit. And B is to protect children whose parents have mental illnesses in paragraph R. But I drop C. and this is to align with nomenclature changes as the Directorate of Children Services is now headed by the Secretary of Children Services.
I propose the question that clause 147 be amended as proposed by the chair. And now put the question that clause 147 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And now put the question that clause 147 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 148, 149, and 150.
I propose the question that clauses 148, 149, and 150. The Honorable Millie, what is out of order?
Thank you, Chair. Actually, I had an amendment to 148. I just want to go on record that we have agreed that I drop it.
Very well.
Thank you.
Honorable members, I'll have a retake on that then. I propose the question that clauses 148, 149, and 150 be part of the bill. And now put the question that clauses 148, 149, and 150 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 151.
I propose the question that clause 151 be part of the bill. The Honorable Millie.
Thank you, Chair. I move that clause 151 be amended as per the order paper. The Attorney General is no longer concerned with issues of prosecution by the DPP. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 151 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. And now put the question that clause 151 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And now put the question that clause 151 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 152.
I propose the question that clause 152 be part of the bill. There are two proposals to this, Chair. You will go first.
I move that clause 152 be amended as per the order paper. And this is the reason, Chair. This is to align with nomenclature changes as the Directorate of Children Services is now headed by the Secretary of Children Services and to correct misreferencing.
I propose a question that clause 152 be amended as proposed by the chair. And now put the question that clause 152 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The Honorable Millie Odhiambo, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I propose that clause 152 be amended as per the order paper. And Chair, sometimes we forget that children belong both to mothers and fathers, so sometimes we discriminate against fathers. So in this instance, we are talking about instances where only mothers are imprisoned. What about if it's the father who was taking care of the children and not the mother? So I just wanted to add the fathers. And then in subparagraph 2, subparagraph 2, my second amendment I drop. So it's only the first one that I'm moving. Thank you, I move.
I propose the question that clause 152 be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. I now put the question that clause 152 be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 152 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 153.
I propose the question that clause 153 be part of the bill. The Honorable Millie.
Thank you, Chair. I move that I propose that clause 153 be amended as per the order paper, but with a further amendment. I drop the proposal to delete the word exceeding, and I drop the proposal to add the word less than, and instead propose to delete the word sorry, 100,000 and replace with 1 million. So that the only amendment I have is delete 100,000 and replace with 1 million.
I propose a question that clause 153 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. I now put the question that clause 153 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Las men of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
Las men of the opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 153 as amended be part of the bill. Will las men of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will las men of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 154.
I propose the question that clause 154 be part of the bill. The Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, move that clause 154 be amended by deleting subclause 6, which basically allows any person who is aggrieved by a care order to appeal to the court. I move.
I propose the question that clause 154 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. I now put the question that clause 154 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Las men of that opinion say aye. Las men of the opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 154 be part of the bill. Will las men of that opinion say aye? Will las men of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 155.
I propose the question that clause 155 be part of the bill. There are two proposals to this, Chair.
Yes, Chair. I move that clause 155 be amended as per the order paper. And the reason, Chair, is to align with nomenclature changes as the Directorate of Children's Services is now headed by the Secretary of Children's Services.
I propose the question that clause 155 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I now put the question that clause 155 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will las men of that opinion say aye? Las men of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Chair, I propose that clause 155 be amended as per the order paper. Just want to clarify that I gave the wrong reasons for 154, even though I still support the deletion, which we have done. And the reason for 154 had to do with discipline of children, which we know parents have, but if we put it as a proviso, it was actually negative. But for now, the reason I gave for the 154 is actually for this, that a person who is aggrieved by a care order may appeal to court. So just the reasoning is different, but the proposal remains the same, that we've deleted 154, and I'm proposing A to replace with a person who is aggrieved by a care order, or a new 6A, a person who is aggrieved by a care order to appeal to court. Thank you.
I now put the question that clause 155 be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 155 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 156.
I propose the question that clause 156 be part of the bill. Chair?
Chair, clause 156. I move that clause 156 be amended as per the order paper, and it's on the same note to align with nomenclature changes as the Directorate of Children's Services is now headed by the Secretary of Children's Services.
I propose the question that clause 156 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I now put the question that clause 156 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 156 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 157.
I propose the question that clause 157 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 157 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? ayes have it.
Clause 158.
I propose the question that clause 158 be part of the bill. There are two proposals to this. Chair?
Yes, Chair. Clause 158 be amended as per the order paper. And this is also the same issue to align with the nomenclature changes as the Directorate of Children's Services is now headed by the Secretary of Children's Services.
I propose the question that clause 158 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Koskei, member for Chepalo, Chair Labor Committee. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. The Honorable Millie?
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 158 be amended as per the order paper, but with a further amendment to the last one. For the first part, it's basically to sort out grammatical issues to make so that the sentence makes sense. But for the last one, where I was proposing a new subparagraph E to include an interested person, but going by the early amendments, we will use the wording, a person acting on behalf and in the best interest of the child. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 158 be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. And I put the question that clause 158 be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as Vakuna opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I put the question that clause 158 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as Vakuna opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 159, 160, 161, and 162.
I propose the question that clauses 159, 160, 161, and 162 be part of the bill. There are no amendments to this. I therefore now put the question that clauses 159, 160, 161, and 162 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 163.
I propose the question that clause 163 be part of the bill. The Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Chair, I propose that the clause 163 be amended as per the order paper. And Chair, this clause deals with a child who escapes from an institution. And all I'm seeking is that the court, before making any order, should get the views of a child, because sometimes children run from institution because of abuse. So it will be good for the courts to know why a child is running from an institution. I so move.
I propose the question that clause 163 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. And now I put the question that clause 163 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And now I put the question that clause 163 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 164.
I propose the question that clause 164 be part of the bill. The Honorable Millie.
Thank you, Chair. I will move my amendment in, with a further amendment. First, by dropping the first proposed amendment, and in the second one, by replacing, that's one clause 64. $100 with $1 million, and dropping the earlier proposed amendments, and instead delete 100 and replace with 1 million in subclause 2.
Very well.
Thank you.
And now I propose the question that clause 164 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. I put the question that clause 164 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a opinion say nay? Ayes have it. And now put the question that clause 164 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 165, 166, and 167.
I propose the question that clauses 165, 166, and 167 be part of the bill. There are no amendments to this. I therefore now put the question that clauses 165, 166 and 167 be part of the bill. Las members of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
Las members of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 168.
I propose a question that clause 168 be part of the bill. The Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 168 be amended as per the order paper. Before I give the reasons, Chair, I just want to notice because of how big this bill we might miss out. We might have missed out something in subclause 1, which I hope the Chair at some point, either through a recommittal or in a further amendment, would look at. We don't refer to children as accused persons, we refer to them as subject to avoid stigmatization. So it's something that we are discussed, but perhaps the committee chair may consider a recommittal when we are doing a recommittal for 168, because I don't have the power to do that amendment, to recommit so that you use the word subject, not accused. But I move that we delete subclause 2 and subclause 3 and replace with the proposal as per the order paper, because it basically deals with presumptions about age. And my worry was that if you have a situation where a child appears in court and is accused, and the child is actually 14 years, but the court doesn't know the age, and they are actually charged as an adult at 18 years, and later it appears to the court that it was actually a child, the court should be able to reverse that decision. Because it would mean, even in terms of where the child would be put, they will actually be jailed with adults and treated like an adult when they're actually a child. So the court should actually be able to reverse that order. As it's currently worded, will be tying the hand of the court. Thank you.
I propose a question that clause 168 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. I now put the question that clause 168 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 168 as amended be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 169, 170, and 171.
I propose a question that clauses 169, 170, and 171 be part of the bill. There are no amendments to this, and therefore now put the question that clauses 169 and 170 and 171 be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 172.
I propose a question that clause 172 be part of the bill. There are two proposals to this. We'll start with the chair.
I move that clause 172 be amended as per the order paper. Chair, this is to align with the nomenclature changes as the Directorate of Children's Services is now headed by the Secretary of Children's Services.
I propose a question that clause 172 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Koskei, member for Chepalu. I now put the question that clause 172 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Koskei, member for Chepalungu. Las members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Las members of a contrary opinion say nay. Ayes have it. The Honorable Millie.
Chair, I propose that clause 172 be amended as per the order paper, but I just want to bring to your attention that the order paper makes a reference in B to subclause 2, but instead it's actually subclause 1B, not 2. Just want that for correction, because my amendments relate to subclause 1. I have no amendment in subclause 2. So I'm proposing the amendments, and basically it's just to sharpen the meanings, but also to make it clear that foster care is for a short term, it's not for a long term. As currently worded, it would appear like foster care is for a long term, but foster care for a short time as a more permanent solution is sought. I so move.
I propose a question that clause 172 be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. And now put the question that clause 172 be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as the current opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And now put the question that clause 172 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as the current opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 173.
I propose the question that clause 173 be part of the bill. There's no amendment to this. I therefore now put the question that clause 173 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as the current opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 174.
I propose the question that clause 174 be part of the bill. The Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Koske.
Chair, I move that clause 174 be amended as per the order paper. And these are the reasons, Chair. One is to align with nomenclature changes, as the Directorate of Children's Services is now headed by the Secretary of Children's Services, and to remove subclause, because from the definition of foster care, it refers to placement of children under the care of individual or spouses, and never an institution. Chair, subclause 7 is misplaced. It seems to be describing the roles of managers of a rehabilitation school or charitable children institutions, that is children's homes, yet this clause deals with foster care placement. Thank you, Chair.
I propose a question that clause 174 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Koske. And now I put the question that clause 174 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Koske. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And now I put the question that clause 174 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 175.
I propose the question that clause 175 be part of the bill. The Honorable Koske.
Chair, I move that clause 175 be amended as per the order paper. Chair, this is to align with the nomenclature changes, as the Directorate of Children's Services is now headed by the Secretary of Children's Services. Under subclause 2 is just to clarify that the Secretary of Children's Services will be responsible to conduct due diligence on an applicant seeking to become a foster parent. Chair, to stipulate a definite period for temporary foster care under subclause 4, and this should not be exceeding 3 months. Chair, under subclause 5, it's also to clarify that any person exercising temporary foster care of a child pending reunification with the parents must give a notice to the Secretary of Children's Services and not the officer commanding a police station, who has no responsibilities in foster care placement.
Just hold on, the Honorable Millie. Let me propose first. Yes. You are assisting him. Proceed then, the Honorable Millie.
Chair, I know he's receiving guidance. We actually had, as I indicated earlier, we'd had a meeting earlier, and just wanted to bring to his attention in D that we had said that we should retain officer commanding station, because ordinarily any Kenyan, if you found a child who is lost, or you wake up in the morning and somebody has dropped a child outside your house, you don't look for the Secretary of Children Affairs, you go to the police. So that's why you have the OCS. But it was to bring a further amendment that the OCS should then notify the Secretary of Children Affairs within 24 hours. Because it will be an onerous task on members of the public, if I'm just being a good Samaritan, to be expected to be looking for Secretary of Children Affairs if I found a child outside my home. I just want to be helpful. The nearest place to go is to the police. So I hope the chair got me. Thank you.
Yes, so let us allow the chair to move first. The chair proceed to make your proposals.
As per what Honorable Millie Odhiambo said, it requires the officer commanding the station to be notified. That one I accept, Chair. So I dropped the initial amendment. I'm not amending, but I've dropped the earlier amendment, and now we are putting acceptance that under subclause 5, we introduced that it requires the officer commanding station be notified.
Could we have that text?
Just to notify to the officer commanding the station to notify the Secretary of Children's Services within 24 hours as per the law.
Which we need the text and where it will exactly fit in that clause 175.
That is a new clause, new subclause 5A. 5A.
5.
Correct. No, it's okay now. It's okay now.
Yeah, the Honorable Millie.
Yes. My understanding is that the chair of the committee is retaining his amendment of A and B and C, but dropping D.
Correct.
And introducing a new subclause that the OCS shall notify the Secretary of Children Affairs within 24 hours.
Correct.
Which comes then after subclause 5.
Correct.
Very well. So, Chair.
Yeah, that's correct.
So that is what the manner in which you wish to move it?
Yes. We are retaining 1, 2, 3,
yes,
but dropping 5, but introducing a new clause as per Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Requiring the
OCS be notified, so that is the one to now report to the Secretary of Children's Services within 24 hours.
Very well. I now propose the question that clause 175 be amended as proposed by the chair. The Honorable Tonui Kiprotich, you wanted to say something to this?
I wanted to say something previously, but after that correction, I'm okay.
Right. I now put the question that clause 175 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 175 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 176.
I propose the question that clause 176 be part of the bill. The Honorable Koske.
Chair, I move that clause 176 be amended as per the order paper. Under clause 176, this to provide for the right of intersex children to receive foster care and not impeded the gender rule thereunder. Chair, further, to park animals or persons of questionable repute, such as pedophiles, child traffickers, and other criminals stated in the fourth schedule from fostering children in order to safeguard the welfare of children. Thank you, Chair.
I propose the question that clause 176 be amended as proposed by the chair. I see interest from the Honorable Tonu.
I just want to support that. I believe the people with criminal records should never be given responsibility over any child. So I support.
I now put the question that clause 176 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Koskei. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 176 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? I now put the question that clause 176 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 177.
I propose the question that clause 177 be part of the bill. Chair?
Thank you, Chair. I move that clause 177 be amended as per the order paper. This is to align with nomenclature changes as the Directorate of Children's Services is now headed by the Secretary of Children's Services. And number two, Chair, the second amendment is to seek to clarify the provision.
I propose the question that clause 177 be amended as proposed by the chair. And now put the question that clause 177 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question.